It says ready. One, 2, 3, 4, go. We're live now. Do you feel alive?
Kind of, yeah. I feel like I'm off to the side though.
Who are you? I know, like, is this a good angle for me? How's my angle, Alex?
Well, you know, your neck looks good like that.
It actually hurts though. Can you see up my nose? Don't look.
Not as much as I'd like to.
I have nose hairs. I just want you to know that. And they're getting longer now that I'm older. Do you trim your nose hairs?
Well, I'm officially offended that you've asked me that question.
Why?
Well,
I was going to ask you if you trim down there too, but I guess if you're offended with the nose, we should probably stay up here. So there are some questions you're not really willing to answer.
No, well, you can ask anything you like.
Do you wear a banana thong?
I can honestly say that I have never worn a banana. Is it called a banana thong? Is that what it's called?
I think so. Well, I don't know. Yes, I think there's a thing called a banana thong. You can Google it.
There's the mankini thing, isn't there? You know, which
a mankini.
Yeah, which Borat, the guy that played Borat wore, and it was luminous green, I think. You know, which just kind of makes it even more awful. So
a luminous green mankini.
Mankini. Have you not seen this?
No.
I know you're saying that, you can't remember things from films and so on, but I think when you've seen that, it would be like scarred on your memory. So.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I saw a mankini with the luminous green, what's the size of the package?
To be perfectly honest, I didn't, I didn't get the measuring tape out. So.
Yeah, but you can kind of tell, like, you can tell when you look at a woman's chest, you can tell if there's something there. But anyways, we don't need to get into that. We came here to talk about serious business today, Alex.
Very serious. Yes.
So, for example, who are you?
Okay. You're starting with a tough one, yeah?
I don't know who I am.
Well, luckily, my name's on the screen there, so
My name is Alex.
My name is Alex Mayberry. Mayberry. That's
yes.
right.
Yes, yeah. Alex. And how do I know you? You
know me because I'm an author, apparently.
Did you write this book with the bread on the cover here?
I did, yes, I did. And I know that you love that picture so much. I mean, you talk about it all of the time.
I do.
In fact, I think you wish that you had bread on your cover because, there's a little bit of envy there going on. Go on, you can admit it, it's fine.
I'm not jealous of your bread. I really like bread, but your book doesn't have anything to do with bread.
No, but it has something to do with a bacon sandwich, which is
hardly any bacon. I'm offended by the amount of bacon on the sandwich, Alex. That is what my problem is. Do you see? There's hardly any bacon. How can you make a bacon sandwich with hardly any bacon on it?
On the other side, though, there's loads.
No, there's not loads.
It might offend you more on the other side because it's actually got ketchup as well, which is,
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
I know. It's all wrong, isn't it?
Who puts ketchup on a bacon sandwich?
Nearly everybody in Britain.
British people are rubbish. No, I'm just kidding. I love British people. I just wanted to say rubbish because I don't get to use that word very, very much.
What word do you use? Garbage, is it? Trash.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't say garbage. Is that rubbish and garbage? That's but yeah, no, I just wanted to say rubbish. No, but ketchup.
Okay, so British people are garbage and trash. Yeah, is that what you?
No, I love British people. I do. Now I seem like I don't know a lot of British people, Alex. I had one friend that I met who was from England when I was single, and we went on a date, and then he stayed the night. And that's a story. We didn't do anything. We slept together, but we didn't do anything.
What? Okay. Right. Okay.
No, we
Was this
really
the first-
didn't. We
was
really
this the first
didn't. I
year?
know it sounds really weird, but so I named him. He was going to be a character in my book. I named him the Perfect Gentleman because he was completely a gentleman. We did not do anything. He just stayed the night.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's the one English person that I know. And he told me that English people don't like Americans. Is that true, Alex? Do y'all like Americans?
I think no, I think we do, but I think what it is that there's an energy and there's a passion there, which we're just naturally more reserved, and maybe in some ways it's a bit of envy, because like we'd like to be more kind of, outgoing and brash, and we do have our moments when we're patriotic and so on, but it tends to be reserved for football and things like that. We don't stand and weep, at the national anthem and things like that. So and I think Americans by and large as well, you're just so much more positive about everything, and that's not a British trait really at all. We're not quite sure how to be happy. I would say, the best that we get is kind of like, that's not bad.
Yeah. Oh shit!
That's a British thing. Yeah, that's just because we're reserved, though. We're reserved and uptight.
Reserved and uptight. We have giant sticks up our asses.
Yeah, but we use those giant sticks to rule the world at one point. So
until we took it back.
Well, no, we gave it back.
Tomato. I watched. Are you watching The Circle on Netflix? Because there is a British girl on there. Her name is Chloe, and she has a perfect ass.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, she has no cellulite. She's also like stick thin, and she wears these little Daisy Duke shorts. She's really loud and obnoxious, but she's brilliant to watch.
So this probably answers your question, but remind me what The Circle is.
Well, it's a reality TV show on Netflix where it's a social media thing where they have this competition and people get voted out, mind-rotting bullshit.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I used to watch one in the UK a few years ago now called Geordie Shore.
Jersey Shore?
No, not Jersey Shore. Geordie Shore.
Geordie, like
Geordie,
like Jordy, Geordie.
No, GEORDIE.
Geordie. What?
They're it was in the northeast, so it was like Newcastle.
Okay, because I know nothing about England. You're from. Tell me where you're from.
So I live in Durham, which is in the northeast of England. You say Durham, most people don't know because it's got a cathedral, which is, I suppose, it's very nice actually. It's about 900 years old. It's a beautiful area. We've got lots of areas of outstanding natural beauty up here. We've got a really diverse county. I'm going to sound like I'm advertising on the advertising board for County Durham now, but it is a beautiful area actually. And maybe the impression from overseas, is that there's this north-south divide, and most people just go down to London because it's more, hip and cultured and all the rest of that. But get out to the rest of England actually, because it is beautiful. And the further north that you go, I mean, don't go further into Scotland. Sorry, Scotland. But the further north that you go, you get people that are just like really kind of salt of the earth, really down to earth, just nice as anything. So, yeah, England's a great place. So Scotland, so is Wales. I haven't really been to Ireland. I don't know. So
if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go next?
Oh, well, next I would. I think I'd probably go to Macedonia. I think.
I have a friend from Macedonia, and okay, so it's my daughter, Sapphire. I don't even talk to you about my daughter. So I have a daughter, her name's Sapphire.
Okay.
When she turns 21, we want to plan a trip to go to Macedonia.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it might be to see the same friend.
Yeah. Who do you want to see?
Who do you want to see?
I always say her name wrong.
Oh, well, okay, so that'll be you, because when I first started talking to her, she said, people always get my name wrong, and it's you. That's who she's talking about.
You say her name then, because you know how to say it right. Say it.
What is it? Juliana.
Yes! Okay,
yes.
Cool. So same friend. So don't you just love her?
Oh, she's awesome.
She's magical.
She is. She's so funny, and just really, really easy to talk to. Really nice. So yeah, I've actually a few years ago when I was married, I did 3 or 4 years in a row traveling around Europe. They're driving around Europe actually. So we drove from England across Europe. The first trip I ever did, we went all the way to Romania and then back, which is about a 4,000-mile round trip. So it's took in about 11 countries, and it was great. But I did that over a few years as well. So I've probably seen visited at least half of Europe, which was really good, and I'm missing that now. I would really like to be able to travel again, obviously, but we're having to wait for that at the moment, aren't we? But that side, the closest I got to kind of Macedonia in that area, I got to let me think now. I got to Sarajevo. I got to Romania, and I've been to Hungary. But then any kind of further than that, so like Serbia and Macedonia and Estonia and places like that, haven't been. So that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I have hardly been anywhere. I've been to Ireland.
Right. Okay.
That's it. I've been to Ireland and then across the border to Canada once. And then I've hardly been anywhere in the United States. I've been here mostly.
Okay. Do you not like to travel, or is that?
I do like to travel. It's just that's something that rich people do.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never been to the States though.
Yeah, I work a lot. I mean, to be in the States, you pretty much have to work all the time.
Yeah, I've got to learn to sit still here because I'm shaking all of the time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, you can edit this bit out. All right.
We're not editing. This is live. This is the beauty. This is unscripted, just raw, like raw. We actually might make somebody mad, and then they might troll us and make angry comments, and then we might get blocked by society.
Well, it's possible. It's possible I might have made Juliana mad as well, because I was going to say that.
I'm still afraid to try to say her name. Every time I talk to her, I practice it.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's true.
Well, the J is a Y.
Julia.
No, so it's you.
Juliana. La. Yeah, no, I love her. So do you realize that I actually hired Juliana to do graphic design for my business?
Yeah, because one of the things we talked about first of all was yourself. I started talking to her through your wealth creation group, and I was like, oh, how do you know I'm there? And she mentioned that's how you guys knew each other. And that's an ongoing thing as well, though, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, mostly. So this is where we're at. Is I paid her some money and then told her I would teach her, and then I haven't taught her anything. My plan is to get her ready for busy season, which is coming up in June. So I have to start sending her stuff, and it's a lot to try to keep up with everything that I'm trying to do.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'm struggling.
She's actually reading my book at the moment, and she sort of offered that when I write my next one, which I have started, to go on. She might help me a little bit with the cover and the design work. Which,
thank God for that.
You'll be very pleased about that. You know, I don't think there'll be any bacon sandwiches on the next one, but
I like bacon sandwiches without ketchup.
Right. Okay.
I hear you have another type of sauce over there on your bacon sandwiches. You have the option of ketchup or some sort of English sauce.
Yes, we call it brown sauce.
Brown sauce. Brown sauce makes me think of Old Blood. Like you know, like the brown spot that's left on the bottom of your underwear. Anyways, whoa, too much. Like now, every time you eat brown sauce, you're gonna be like, "Oh God, is there a string in my mouth?"
All right, just scrape that off, man.
Brown sauce. What the hell is in brown sauce?
I think it's a variation on kind of like Worcestershire sauce. So it's like
okay.
I can't actually.
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
I don't know if anybody's watching this, but
four people are watching this.
4 people. Is Gail one of them? She'll be able to tell us what that is.
Oh, we have comments. Do you want to see them?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Look. Oh, we were just talking about her. Say her name again.
Juliana.
See, it's so easy. And every time I say the J, I want to say Julie. And I'm like, but I know it's not right. And then I get stuck. And then I'm like, yeah. Juliana. It's so pretty. See, I love this. This is so good. Oh, and then look at this. Saif says, hey. Have you met Saif? He's from Pakistan.
No, I don't think I have actually. I may have seen a couple of comments on the group, but hi Saif, how you doing there? Thank you for joining us.
I love him so much. So he's young. I've known him for, I think it's been 4 or 5 years. And so he was a little boy when I first started talking to him. And I interviewed him on live like this. But now that he's older, he said he's too afraid to go live with me, which is lame. We're trying to work him up to it.
Right.
Rose. So Rose is a streamer. Do you know Rose?
Hi there, Rose. Hi. How are you?
Do you know Rose, Alex?
I don't actually know. No.
Okay, well, so let me tell you about Rose. Rose is a streamer. She does video game streaming. So you can watch her play video games on her stream, and you can buy stars and give her stars.
I saw a video of this recently, actually. There was a guy that was doing that. I think it was Tomb Raider or something. And it was strangely interesting. You know, before I knew it, I'd been watching for an hour, and I was like willing him on. You're like, go on, and you can get past this bit, you can get past. But I didn't donate any stars. I didn't understand what all of that.
Basically, you're paying people for their time, because some of these people are doing it like for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So if you enjoy the content, you can pay them stars. So for example, there should be a way for me to eventually get paid for my streaming too, with the little magical stars.
Right.
I don't know how to do it yet, but I think it's a thing. It's a new thing, because Facebook is trying to reward the people that are creating content that keep people addicted to social media.
So is it some kind of cryptocurrency? I have no idea what that is either, to be honest.
You don't know what cryptocurrency is?
Well, I've heard of it. Of course I have, but you know.
Are you going to invest in the crypto market?
Probably not, since I don't know what it is.
Are you investing in the stock market?
Nope.
No. Do you have any investments? Your book? I'm gonna get rich on my book. Yeah, we're all very naive, us new authors.
Yeah.
We actually think we're gonna make money on our writing.
Yeah.
It's possible. People make money on writing.
Well, they do. I mean, you know, it's become pretty clear to me straight away that writing the book is just the first step, isn't it? You know, after that, all of the promotion and everything that you have to do to get yourself known, to get it out there, to grow a kind of a network and your followers and all the rest of that. It's wonderful, and I've really enjoyed what I'm doing with all of that, and taking my time with it really as well.
I'm listening. I saw a comment pop up, and I was like, "Oh, look at this!" Yeah. So marketing. Somebody asked. Yeah. Somebody wrote on one of the writing groups that I follow. They're like, "What's your writing? What's your superpower?" And I'm like, "I'm the best at marketing." Whoa. I love marketing. Mm-hmm. Marketing is rad. But yeah,
I love it. I love it, and I can see the value of it. And actually, like the main thing that I'm using, I've done some of the work. You know, I've got an author page on Facebook. I've got a website. I've got I switched my account on Instagram to public recently. I'd see it, but I didn't even know that initially. It was my friend Candice told me about that.
You need a domain name too, a domain name for your website.
Okay, well, you know,
you need to go get your picture taken. You need some professional headshots.
If only I knew a photographer.
You do. I'm going to come to England and I'm going to take your pictures. Because then I can write it off as a business expense.
Wow. Okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I love being a photographer. This is going to be so good. Oh, look, Rose told us about stars. There is levels to get to stars, but you both are doing amazing. It is only the beginning. Oh, so Rose
wow.
told me.
Thank you, Rose.
Rose told me that she's going to teach me how to do streaming. So she's going to teach us how to get stars. We're going to be able to get stars, Alex, you and me. Maybe not today, but soon, someday. Daphne says, it's helpful that the world is online mostly now.
Yes, absolutely. You've got to have those things in place now, but it just makes it so much easier to share content. And I was thinking earlier on, you know, it's a fantastic opportunity, you know, that this time that we live in, that just this time last year, I had the idea of writing. You know, we've been in lockdown for a couple of months. Prior to that, I'd been helping my dad with the book that he was writing at the time. When he retired, he started to write a book, and since then he's published 4, which is fantastic.
What's your dad's name?
I was just going to say he's Alf Smith. Actually, yeah, all of these books are available. Sorry, Alf Smith.
Al A-L?
A-L-F.
Alf. Like, I kill me.
Is that the alien thing?
Yeah, I kill me. That's Alf. Yeah, I watched that show when I was a kid. Alf. Did you watch Alf? Alf, A-L-F?
I know it. I know it, but I couldn't quote it, you know.
Yeah, well, I know that quote. I kill me. So your dad's named after an alien. That's awesome.
Yes, that's exactly what he was named after. Yeah. He's younger than me. So
do you know who he's named after? Who's he named after?
Who is he actually named after?
Yeah, I really do care.
Oh, well, his full name actually is Alf Charles Bowie Smith.
Say that slower.
Alf Charles Bowie Smith.
Alf Charles Bowie
Smith. Yeah.
All right.
So Charles and Bowie were his uncles, basically. His dad's brothers. Bowie's an unusual spelling as well. B-O-W-E-Y. So there we go.
I would pronounce it Bowie. Bowie.
There we go. It's the same with David Bowie. I could never wasn't never sure how you pronounce that, but I don't suppose he cared. Myself, actually, I was named Alex after a snooker player, because my dad was a big snooker fan, and the world champion at the time was Alex Higgins.
Wait, he's a what fan?
A snooker fan.
What is a what?
Snooker. It's a game.
Snooker? What? Snooker?
You might right. You'll have played pool.
Pool.
Yeah.
Like with a pool stick and you shoot a little balls on the table?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
this is a bigger version of that.
Oh, how do you spell that word?
Snooker.
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 Snooker. Snooker. Snooker. Your dad played snooker.
This is like turning into an episode of Sesame Street, isn't it? Snooker.
Oh, snooker's like pool, but it's got a bigger stick. Oh.
Exactly. A bigger stick and bigger balls.
Yay! Oh, I like England. England's great. So your dad plays with a big stick and big balls. His name is Alf.
Correct.
Okay, all right. I can see where you're getting the storyline from.
Yeah. And the world champion when I was born was a guy called Alex Higgins. So
you were named after Alex, the long stick, big ball man. He was the long stick champion.
Correct. That's exactly what he was.
Did you know that Gail commented? Miss Gail did. She says she watched Alf too. So hey Gail, how was my impression? Oh, kill me. I'm telling you. Later on, get on YouTube and find it. You'll see. I should have been the star.
Yeah. My dad actually had a phone that was in the shape of Alf.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
you did?
A replica. That's not right. The volume's kind of a bit funny.
I can hear you.
Right, okay. And it's maybe just me. I'm getting some feedback.
Oh, look at this. She's helping me. Snooker. Your dad played snooker.
That's right.
I'll say it right. Your dad played snooker.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Russell Brand?
Who's Russell Brand?
That accent that you do all of that time, that accent
this is my go-to. I don't know. I listen to it and I'll just practice. I just practice it. Just in case I ever go, I can be like, where you from? I'm from
So this is your attempt of an English accent?
Yeah. Snooker. So I'm excited to talk more about your writing, but can I ask you something off topic just really quick?
Of course, yeah.
What do you think of the Royals?
Personally, I like them. It's obviously been a very sad time at the moment with the Duke of Edinburgh dying just in the last couple of weeks. I didn't actually see the funeral, but despite what the media says about them, there is a lot of affection, I think, in the country for them. So my sister-in-law, for example, she messaged me when the funeral was on, and she was like, "Oh, it's just so sad, seeing the Queen there." They made her sit. She had to sit on her own because of the virus and all of that. But I think the whole you're referring obviously to the interview with Meghan Markle, aren't you? And
I don't watch television. I don't watch television. I watch Netflix sometimes, but I mostly listen to podcasts, and I'm on the computer a lot. So I don't really know a lot of the gossip. I do know that Meghan Markle had an interview.
Yeah.
The gentleman that just passed away, was it? Say his name one more time so I don't mess it up, because I don't want to mess it up.
It was Prince Philip.
Prince Philip, perfect. Prince Philip was in his 90s, correct?
He was almost 100.
Yes. It's because that's one of the things that I did when I saw on social media that he'd passed away. And so then I Googled him, because I don't keep a lot inside my brain.
Okay.
So I Googled him. I Googled him, and I saw that he had lived such a long, full life. And I thought to myself, wow, what a blessing to have been able to live that long, you know, like,
Oh yeah.
that's magical. So did you feel sad that he had passed, or did you feel more like, you know, that's an honorable time to be on the planet, 100 years, like
A bit of both, I think. You know, I mean, yeah, you look at that, it's 99, and the Queen herself, she turned 95 just this week, I think. You know, so you know, they've both given so much to the country, and it's, in a lot of ways, I think it's really quite an unenviable role that they have. Yes, you know, there'll be those that say, oh, they live in palaces, you know, and they eat, you know, the finest foods, and they travel all around the world and all this kind of stuff. But it is, they are puppets to an extent, you know. They're there, they're working, and so on. The prince, for example, Prince Philip, he retired when he was 94, I think. You know, so it's like, and a lot of that, there's all the preparation that goes into all of the public engagements that they have, and so there's a lot of work. And yeah, I think he was. He didn't seem like, you know, kind of stuck up. He spoke his mind. There's just a lot to like about him, I think. Which a lot of the others aren't as quite as, I don't know, quite as likable, I would say. I think for a long time, Harry, for example, was probably the best one out of the bunch. You know, he did his service, you know, in the forces. Did a lot of charity work. You know, it seemed just like you know, like a good down to earth lad, and a lot of sympathy as well. Obviously, you know, with his mother dying the way she did. But all of this with, I say, with Meghan Markle and the accusations that have come out from, and all the rest of that, I think he has lost a lot of sympathy that was there. And I was a little bit torn on the interview. On the one hand, they were talking about the press intrusion and all the rest of that, and how that made it fail. And you can feel sympathy there. And if there is hounding from the press and all the rest of that, that's kind of unforgivable. That's fine. But then to make accusations the way that they did, and not to actually, it was almost like they just kind of teased them, you know. Oh, you know, this was kind of said, and then left it there to kind of ferment and to, you know, to catch fire. And I don't think that's right. I think if you accuse somebody of something, you know, you say it and you have it out, and you know, be all honest and open about that. But so yeah, it's a funny picture, I think, you know, with the family by and large.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning when we first started talking about how the English are typically more reserved. And so, you know, which is interesting because you're talking about Meghan Markle and the drama in regards to Harry and her, how you felt like, you know, there should be more having it out. But if the English people are typically more reserved, sometimes doesn't that mean that turning the other cheek and saying less is more of a power play than needing to hash it out?
I think just when I'm saying it in terms of having it out, it's ordinarily, you know, most people don't live their lives in the public eye. So if you make accusations like that, you know, in public, I think they knew fine well what they were doing with that interview and the publicity that they would get. I think they got a lot of sympathy from that as well in the States, which suits them down to the ground, you know, given the kind of projects that they've got going on, and they're setting up their home there in America now. So, you know, I don't think it was. I think a fair bit of thought went into it, some calculated planning there about the messages that they were putting out. But yeah, by and large, you know, I think the British are more reserved kind of thing. They would, but saying that, we do kind of respect honesty. I think like the best kind of relationships, like in with family or friends or anything like that, is where you can be honest and you can just talk about, you know, if something does bother you, or if you've got a problem or anything like that. Yeah, talk about it. Communications are absolutely the key, which is one of the main things in my book, actually. You see what I did there? It's a nice little segue.
I love it. It was a great segue. You're like, look at this. Let's talk about your book. I do want to talk about your book. I want to try to do this thing. Oh no, not this thing. This thing. Oh, okay. Remember how we said we were going to do this?
Yeah. So you're on the themes page there, aren't you?
We're on the theme page of your website, and Alex needs a domain. What are you going to call you when you get your domain? What are you going to name it? First of all,
well, all of my other kind of social media things that I've got set up, they all have the tag name Alex Mayberry the First, which which is not a royal title at all. My name actually used to be Smith, but I changed it to Mayberry.
Why?
Wow, we won't go into that.
Damn, I knew that was going to be a juicy one. I just knew it, and damn you. Fine.
Come on, Amber. We'll have to leave a little mystery, you know, for the next go around.
All right. Fine.
But they're all as I say, Instagram, Facebook, what have you. It's all Alex Mayberry First. So I'd probably just continue with that, I think. Yeah, okay. It's got a nice ring to it. You can, I don't know, you can
Alex Mayberry the First.
Yeah.
.com. Yeah, if it's open, it should be open. Although it's a lot. Are you going to spell it like the first?
All letters.
That's a long, like, that's a lot of writing.
Well, I don't know. I'll take advice from you. You know about the marketing. So what would you?
So that's it. Just it is. You want it to be short and easy to remember and brand specific.
Okay.
So if you were a brand, if you were going to brand yourself, what would your brand be?
Oh, damn, man. That's a tough question, isn't it?
It's fun though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't really think I have a brand at the moment because, at the end of the day, I've written one book so far, and it's a very short book as well, which you've said before. I did look it up. It's not quite a novella. It's
you looked it up.
I did, yes, because you made me a bit conscious about it. So
oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm such an asshole. No. I really am a dick. I am. Like I make jokes at other people's expense, and then if you make jokes about me, then I get butthurt. It's just awful. I really was teasing. I don't know what a novella, the difference between a novel and a novella is. But what is it? So tell me, teach me. I'm going to shut up.
So a novelette is between 7,500 and 15,000 words. A novella is, I think it was between 10 and 17,000. And then a short story is from 17 up to 20,000, I think.
So yours is a short story?
No, mine's like 15,500. So it's there or thereabouts, But I would say as well, the way that I've written it, it is the vast majority of it. I would say probably like 95% is dialogue. So it's in its kind of like unique kind of style in that way. And not only do I like really enjoy writing dialogue, but I think as well, you can get a lot from the words that people use, but also like what they don't say, you can read a lot of meaning into conversations. So I think while it's maybe not a long book, there's a lot of themes that I do cram into there, which I've suggested some of them on my website. There, they just there as like some of my my thoughts and musings on it. But yeah, you can bring them up. I tried to do some kind of marketing with it. So after each of the themes that I've described there on the website, there's a little kind of poster of a snippet from a passage in that's in the book. So what was the top one there? Sorry, I can't remember.
One, the attraction or the themes?
Yeah, well, so the things that just kind of reels them all off there, and then they're underneath. So you got attraction.
Let's start with attraction. Attraction is that amazing feeling in a relationship when you can be yourself and it's easy. It's like the proverbial lightning in a bottle, powerful, electric, consuming, precious. However, it also needs actually attention and nurturing to maintain the beautiful, inspiring light that once emanated from it. It can easily be forgotten, humming away quietly, but lost under the noise of a relationship until it exists forlornly in memories. So are you writing about being attracted initially, or staying attracted, or losing attraction? You kind of wrote about all three, right?
Yeah. Part of the story, the main focus of the story is about this man called Adam and his dad. But there's a kind of a secondary story there, which I don't explore as much, but it's mentioned in there because, obviously, our lives just aren't about one thing or another. They're about work, and they're about kids, and they're about friends and our social circles, and all these other things, which make up life. So the secondary part there, talking about attraction, is about Adam's wife, Helen, and it's just talking about that, really, about taking each other for granted. I think sometimes it's very easy in relationships to kind of stop trying, I think, and you can become complacent. You can stop making time for doing things together. I mean, it's very important, I think, in a relationship that people have their own time and their own space. You don't just kind of get consumed by the relationship, but because there's a danger there sometimes, I think that if one person's more powerful than the other, if you like, powerful, they can lose themselves. So you've got to have that kind of equal sort of like respect for each other's needs. But just the weight of life, I think, that we can all get tired and bogged down and taking each other for granted. You can very easy to lose that. So a big proponent of things like date nights, and even when you're married and stuff like that. So that's one of the.
You were married. How long were you married for?
I was married for 7 years.
7 years. 7 years. Good luck.
Yeah, I was with my wife for 10. So a decade of my life. Yeah.
Ah, yes. So reading the book, for me, I was really, I was wondering a couple things. Have you ever cheated on anybody?
No.
Never.
No.
Have you ever been cheated on?
No.
So it's interesting that you wrote about that. You wrote about desiring somebody other than your wife. I'm saying you, meaning whenever I'm reading a book, I'm imagining that the main character is the author. That's how I read books. So in my head, you were the main character, even though that wasn't your intent as an author. That's just how I read, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because, and so like when I'm reading Stephen King books, I'm automatically assuming that Stephen King is killing people every day.
Right. Okay.
He's living out his serial killer fantasies in his books. Brilliant man. Anyways, so the moral of the story is did you ever think about cheating on your wife?
That's a direct question, isn't it?
Oh, I know. I'm cheeky that way. Oh,
no, not at all.
Never.
No, it wasn't. wasn't about that. I don't want to get into it too much, but there was, you know, there were other issues in the relationship that we had. But it is interesting, actually, that is like a perspective that you took from that, because when I actually wrote the story, and a friend of mine picked up on this as well, the same kind of thing. There's conversations that Adam has with his dad around that issue, and it's kind of alleged and it's hinted at, but there's no actual, you know, suggestion in that's actually what happened. So yeah, it's I like that there's different ways of interpreting, you know, what the information that you're given in the book, and you know, possibly suggests. It leaves it sort of open. And I got some great feedback from my brother's wife, actually, because when she finished the book, she was like, "Oh well, you know, what happened next?" I won't give it away, you know, I won't say anything. But again, her kind of view of their relationship, you know, going forward, kind of thing, was completely different to what I had in my mind when I was writing it. And I thought, well, that's fantastic. You know, that's somebody can, you know, kind of interpret it in a different way and fill in the gaps like that.
So do you imagine that you're going to write a sequel to this book?
No, I don't think so. No. I think there's, what I had in my mind was very clear about the main focus of it being was the relationship between father and son. The other elements which are in there are just like I said, they're just kind of life and circumstantial and pressures and all of that kind of thing. But the central focus was their relationship. So in that sense, it kind of fits that it is a short book as well, because it's just like an episode, really. You know, they talk about the past and they talk about their relationship now and so on. But it's quite focused like that. So I'm quite happy that it's as short as it was. When I was writing it as well, my initial plan for it was that it might be a play. And that was the style of writing. When I began with, right, I'll have 4 acts and I'll have 2 scenes in each act, and I'll write it out like this. So that maybe suggests as well, you know, if you're reading through it, you can almost read in its kind of stage directions. You know, there's descriptions of it, or he does this or he does that, and then that's how I started. And when it came to actually publishing it, I thought, or finishing the book, I thought, you know, what am I doing? You know, I've never written a play before, and we're in the middle of a lockdown. You know, nobody's going to the theatre, and you're just getting way ahead of yourself there, lad. You know, there's, you know, like, nobody knows you, who's going to pick it up. And I thought the important thing is I just want to get it published and get a story finished, and then see where that'll go from there. So I changed it instead from that format to just a standard kind of the 12 chapters that ended up being in it.
Daphne has a question for you.
Yeah. Have you tried reading your own book, trying to have a different perspective to see if you can have a different feeling from it? I think that's quite difficult, because my approach when I was writing it as well is I had quite a set idea of like the outline of the story, but then when it actually came into, you know, to writing the content of it, I wasn't quite sure of what that was going to be. I didn't like plan it down. I didn't storyboard it all out or plan it down to the nth degree. I was very much kind of there when I was writing it. So there's a scene at the beginning, for example, where Adam and Tony, his dad, they're meeting in a park. The idea is that they're going to spend some time together, which they haven't traditionally done in the past. And Tony's going to teach Adam how how to play chess. So that's the device that they use and kind of thing. And when I was writing it, it's almost as like I'm sat at the table with them, so I could be Adam looking at Tony and imagining him there and feeling the surroundings of the park and seeing the expression on his face and hearing him and all of that, that kind of immersiveness in it, I think. So I think to try to look at it from a different perspective, like it was suggested there, be very difficult for me to do because I sort of like lived it, as I was writing it. I'm not living it in the sense of this is my story, this is what's happened or what have you in my life. There's certainly elements in there of experiences that I have had, and also things that you pick up from other people and things that you hear and all the rest of that. But I think that's probably the same for any author, isn't it? They're in the way that you kind of tell a story and that you interpret the world, what have you, is a combination of all of those things.
So yes, I agree with you. I have a question for you that's a burning question.
Yeah.
So you're the youngest child. You have two brothers that are older.
Mm.
One of the things that you wrote about in your book was almost like I perceived that there was a jealousy between you and your brother, mostly for the affection and attention of their father. And I say you because, again, like I try to make you Alex, Adam, you know what I mean? Blah. Do you feel like your dad has a favorite son?
No, I don't think so. I identify to an extent with Adam in that when I was very young, my dad worked abroad actually for a number of years. I was born in Catterick when my dad was in the army. Soon after he came out of the army, and we moved to just outside of Durham, and he was there for a couple of years. But then he got a job in Saudi Arabia, and for a few years after that, he would come back, and when you're a kid, there's always stories told about like things you said and you did, as you were growing up, and they'd become like the kind of legends of who you are. And my there was a couple about me, there was one about I had an awful temper, and I actually broke my pram in a paddy.
Wait, your crown, like your head crown, or your crown on your tooth?
No, sorry, my pram, my pram that I was pushed around in.
What's a pram?
What would you call it? A buggy?
A buggy? A baby stroller, a stroller.
A baby stroller, yeah.
A stroller.
Yeah, we call it a pram.
A pram.
Pram.
Pram. How do you spell it?
P-R-A-M. P-R-A-M.
It's a pram. We got pushed around in a pram. Okay.
Yeah.
Prom.
So,
I got pushed around in a prom, darling. It was a prom. It was darling. Okay.
That was one,
okay.
Which, forced me mum to say that, he's not mine,
I mean, you're in a stroller. You had to have been, a toddler? Were you a toddler then?
Well, I don't know. I don't really remember it, Yeah.
So you were a naughty little fella.
I had a temper until I went to school, actually.
Did you get beat up?
Literally the first day. No. I did get beat up once, actually, on the way home.
Do you think you're better for it?
What, that I got beat up?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been in other fights. Yeah. I think that particular occasion when I was coming home from school, I didn't fight back at all.
Why not?
I don't know. I just wanted to get home. I think I didn't want to.
Just kick my ass. I just want to go home. It's all right. Hurry up.
Yeah, I didn't.
Kick the ass.
I don't know. I don't know quite what happened there. I was probably about 7.
Oh.
Yeah, two brothers. Yeah, chased me into a field and kind of piled in on us a bit.
Just
but
because why?
And then I think the only other fight I've ever been in was when I was at boarding school.
When you were where?
Oh, sorry, at a private school. So I was like a boarder at a school.
And how old were you then?
I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
Did you fight back this time?
It wasn't really a fight. Basically, what it was the first term. Well, the first term that I lived there. So it was a boarding school. So you live after school. Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents were still in Saudi Arabia at the time. So what the arrangement was that every school holiday I would fly out, to see them. I did have family in the UK. I had my grandparents and my brothers as well. But I lived after school. So the first time I was there, my roommate was a Chinese kid. I can't remember what his Chinese name was, but his English name was Eric. And he didn't speak a lot of English. He was taking English lessons, while he was there, but he didn't speak a lot of English. And we shared a room for 3 months. And we kind of I think we just kind of wound each other up, with farting and stuff like that.
Did you have a stinky room? Was your room stinky? Because you're 14.
Because you're 14. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So one night he just got right up in my face and he punched me in the chest. Yeah, and then he went, "I am strong." Right?
I am strong.
So I punched him in the mouth.
Oh,
and then we kind of
too.
Yeah, so we kind of rolled around a little bit, and then some of the other lads came in, pulled us apart, kind of thing. The housemaster, who kind of lives in as well and was looking after all the boys there, sent us along to the matron. We had a matron there, that was looking after us if we got sick or anything. And so I'd given him a bit of a fat lip, and when we stood there, we were both getting told off, and we just kind of looked at each other, and we were smirking, and we were best friends after that. So that was good.
Isn't that great how you can get in a fight with somebody and then you're better friends for it?
Yeah.
I got in a fight in high school with this girl named Jenny Pena, and we literally got in a fight over books in the locker, and she started it. She started the fight, and I remember she pushed me, and when we were fighting because my book was missing. We were sharing a locker. My book was missing. I asked her where it was, and then she got mad at me because she said I was accusing her of being a thief. And then it escalated, and she starts pushing me. And then I remember thinking to myself, okay, I think you're about ready to get in a fight right now, Amber. So this is what you need to do. You just need to punch and keep punching. So that's what I did. I'm just like, I'm just like punch. And I'm like, this as fast as I can, just punch. And then I kicked her ass. And it was like the greatest feeling ever.
Wow.
That was so great. Oh, I loved it. And then I never fought again.
And did you get arrested after that? Or?
No. No, but we did become better friends. After we didn't talk for probably 3 or 4 days, and then she called me and she was told me that I suck at punching. She said, by the way, your punches didn't even hurt. And I don't doubt it, because they weren't strong punches. There was just a lot of them. Right.
Okay. It was a barrage.
It was a barrage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was saying anyhow. One of the the kind of the stories about this was when my dad would come back home. I called him. I said, "Oh, he's the man that brings gifts," because he would come over from Saudi Arabia. He'd always bring us something back. So he would, he'd bring us a Teenage Mutant Turtle or well, no, that was probably a bit later. I don't know, but he always brought us like you know, he would get like pirated videos and cassettes and stuff, you know. So I got a lot of my musical taste and interest in film and stuff like that from my dad, and very much so.
Is he your hero, you think? Your dad?
One of them, I think. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, eventually when I was 12, the job that he was in, he had an opportunity to move to a family quarter. You know, so the setup was he worked for British Aerospace, and they had compounds out there of, you know, like Westerners, you know, and they had ones which were just for single guys, but then they had ones for families as well. So when I was 12, both my older brothers were old enough to be able to look after themselves really at home, you know. So me and my mum moved out there. So I went to school out there for a couple of years, and that was great. But I would say probably in the last couple of years, especially, and probably with the writing more than anything, is where I kind of like gotten to know my dad a lot more and bonded with him a lot more. I think there was maybe a few years, and he did probably agree with this as well. There was a few years where there's a lot of my kind of sensitivity and what have you I get from my mum, and he is like a very sensitive guy. He's a very generous guy. He's very sociable, a very sociable man. But yeah, in terms of like understanding him and, you know, and having that kind of like closer bond and all the rest of that, I think that's really come on in the last couple of years now, and I really value that. So yeah, there's some parallels with Adam's story, certainly, but it's not me.
It's not me. It's not me.
It's not me. No, he's not. No. Yeah, I don't think I'll write another story like this, because I've got loads of stories just bubbling up here, and I've some of them they just a title, you know. Some of them are sketched out. The second book that I have started, I wrote the first chapter about 6 weeks ago. When I launched my website, I had a blog on there, and I put the first chapter on there, and I thought that motivated me to, you know, to crack on with it and keep writing. And 6 weeks later, I haven't written anything else until last night. I started looking at it. I messaged Juliana then, actually, and I was saying I've had a look at my writing, you know, and it's a bit kind of, I've had to change some of it, you know. It was a bit flabby. It was a bit, you know, a bit wobbly and
flabby
and stuff like that. So, but you know, I've got to get going with that. And part of that as well has been just really, and I want to like thank you, you know, so much as well for, you know, encouraging me, getting me involved with the group that you have on Facebook. Really, the whole community on there, on Instagram, a lot of the other authors and you know, that I've been getting in touch with them. It's just really
Sneha and Gail.
Sneha, Gail. There's a couple of people I wanted to mention. There was Candice DeLucy.
Oh yeah, Candice.
There's Harriet, or Harry, as she likes to be called, Pierce. There's another last called Gemma Everson. Just really, really lovely people, and kind of, you know, just like fun, and you can have the banter with them, and the share their ideas, and it's nice, you know. It's really, really nice, and all of that is kind of inspiring as well. So thank you, Gail. Yeah, really.
Thank you, Gail. Do you think Gail will come live with me and do a talk? She says she's antisocial, just like me.
Well, Gail, I would say that, you know, I was nervous. You know, this isn't my forte, but it's the same kind of like with work, really. You know, if you're going to give a presentation at work, you're always thinking a little bit beforehand, oh, it's, you know, it's going to be awful, or it's not going to go well, kind of thing. And then you get going, and you kind of shows up now. You know, we've been going an hour, and you know, Amber was worried that, you know, we weren't going to have anything to talk about. So. I did have a question for you.
Because you said you're the strong and silent type, Alex.
Yeah, that's me. That's me all over.
You have a question for Gail?
No, for you.
Oh, for me. Oh,
yes.
What's your question, Alex?
I want to ask about your hats.
Oh, do you like my hat?
Well, it's got a bit of kind of like it's Sherlock Holmes-esque. It's a bit Deerstalkerish.
Huh?
Yes. It's a bit Deerstalkerish, you know. Yes, so that's good. Well, normally you wear a peaked cap. I mean, I know that's got a peak.
A baseball hat?
Yeah.
It's falling apart?
Yes. And I think you have more than one, and all of them, the bit in the middle is worn away. I was going to ask, why is that? And I thought, is it because, you know, maybe because you're antisocial, that you kind of walk around with your head down and you walk into things, you know, and that over time, that's kind of worn away the fabric.
I just go around donk,
yeah.
Donk,
or, you know, are you just like super aggressive and you just go around nutting people? Or
I headbutt them. Funk.
You know, but I didn't notice it was like, yes, it's the same spot on every one. So like, what the hell?
I think it's because I pinch the bill a lot. Like I don't pinch this one. So I think that's what it is. Because I like to hide under my hats. I do. I like to hide. In fact, today I was my goal to not wear a hat. I was like, I'm just gonna have my head free. But then I didn't like it. So I needed a hat. So this is the hat.
Right. Okay.
But I only have, so I don't own a lot of things. I'm trying to become a minimalist. I want to be a minimalist. Except for I keep buying Legos, which is another topic. But the bottom line is I don't own a lot of things, and most of the things that I own are really old. So my hats are probably 10 years old plus. And I probably need new hats. But I don't want to buy them because then I'll have to break them in again. It took me a long time to get the strings hanging off there like that.
Are you sentimental about them?
No, I don't think so. I like the hat because it fits my head really well and I can hide under it and it doesn't make me look like I have a big head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that one you're wearing now is, yeah, it's lovely.
You know, one of my clients, his name is Terry. He told me that it looks like I'm trying to pretend like I'm younger than I am and that my hat looks ridiculous.
Well, that's not very nice.
I don't think he said the last part. I added that. He did say that he thinks that I'm trying to act like I'm not my age. How old are you?
I'm 40.
40? Oh, well, at least you're not 44.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
I'm 44. Have you ever been at 44? No, you haven't. Oh, I'm 44.
Yeah, you'll be starting to think about Botox and stuff, will you?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Alex. I've been wanting to talk to you about Botox all day. So, do you see this thing that's happening with my neck? That thing. See it?
I can see that you're pointing at your neck.
Well, I don't like this stuff. See it?
All right. Okay. It's like your
vagina. This is my neck vagina.
It's like your turkey neck. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to. Do you think if I got Botox, it would make it go away?
I would just say no. And then I would say,
what do you think of celebrities with the big lips?
Oh God! All I would say to that is Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan's beautiful.
She destroyed her lips.
I know she did.
She was beautiful, and then she did something to her mouth, and it was just like
she made herself have bigger lips. Do you think I should get butt implants? Should I get butt implants?
What in your lips?
No, in my butt.
How big do you want them to be?
Well, my butt's already big. Baby got back. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's some things wrong with it. I'm not going to get into it. Anyway. So your book, because we've been chatting here for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Wow.
I know. What do you think about that?
It's pretty awesome. I think it's gone quite well.
I do too. And so, this is going to be on YouTube. So it'll be on YouTube. Oh, it's streaming live on YouTube right now.
All right. Great.
So the sad thing about the Instagram, because you mentioned you gave some shout outs to our Instagram peeps, is that this video is too long for Instagram. So I'll probably have to take a little snippet so that we can post it to Insta. That's the tricky part, is some of the social media integration.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep up with all the platforms. How are you doing keeping up with everybody?
Well, not particularly great, to be honest.
It's hard, right? I haven't been on Instagram in a week.
I like something you told me kind of stuck. When you started the group, you said like it's so important to have the content seen and to be liked and to comment and all of that kind of stuff, and like even if I don't have time to read everything, I always make a point of like looking at your group and at least just if I don't have the time for anything else, I can give it a thumbs up, I'll just make a quick comment or what have you. There'll be some stuff on there that I'll mark down, and I think that's great. I'll read that later. But I do really appreciate that, to produce content and like the volume of content that you do, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. So I think like, well, that's tremendous if you can be putting that out there. And it's the same on whether it's Instagram or Facebook and all the rest of that. There's some people on there, they're just churning out the content all of the time, and I don't honestly know how they do it because it's like I looked at it and I had a little wobble, I would say, probably about 4 weeks ago, when I thought, God, this is just like so overwhelming how much you have to do. And I started watching videos on YouTube and stuff, but it's like at the same time, like I work full time. I work for a local government, and sometimes on the night I just don't want to do anything. I just want to chill out. I want to watch snooker. That's on at the moment.
Snooker.
Yeah, it's the World Championships on at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I wasn't doing this with you, I'd be watching that. So.
Snooker.
Yeah. So I think probably, at the moment, if I do like a post a day, I'm doing quite well. And I know that as a consequence of that, it's important to get more followers and build that up. But I'm happy with the trade-off of, I'm feeling my way through it and just enjoying the interactions that I'm having on there. I think I'm up to, I don't know, just over 100 followers, something like that. So I'm a small fish in a giant pond, but I'm quite happy with that, because I think, like I said earlier as well, in terms of a brand for myself, I've only written one book, and I think once I've written maybe 3, 4, 5 books, and I've got a bit more to kind of show what I can do and show my, the range of, potential that I've got, then you got something a bit more to shout about. Do you know what I mean? What
genre do you think that you are going to write? Romance makes a lot of money.
Well, like I think, I mean, this might sound big-headed, but like I think I could write anything.
Oh,
like so the second book I've started, it's going to be called Connecting the Doubts, and all the characters in it are women, and it's a story about 2 women who have been they've lifelong friends, but just the way that their lives have gone, they've kind of slowly drifted apart. And then there's a night out, and it just kind of explodes, and then there's the fallout from that and all the rest. So it's about female relationships with their friends and family life and different things like that. For me, that's quite a challenge, you know.
Because you're not a female. It's
No.
interesting that you chose. It's interesting that you chose to write about females. You know, you're like, I'm just me, Alex. I'm going to sit down as a man, and I'm going to write this story about female relationships. That's interesting. That's an interesting choice.
But at the same time, I've been in relationships. I've worked predominantly with women for most of my career as well. I don't know. I think I obviously feel like it is a challenge, but it is something that I could have a go, you know, and see how I do, and that'll be interesting. Because one of the main kind of yardsticks, if you like, that I've been interested in with my book is not necessarily how many it's going to sell or anything like that, but it's important to me, you know, when people come back and they say like your characters are relatable, you know, or that it made me laugh, that it made me feel something. And, you know, touch wood, you know, all of the reviews that I've had so far, they have said that. Like in some examples, it's been really quite humbling, you know. There's one of the characters in the book who kind of like, you know, suffered from a disease, and somebody said, oh, that reminded me of my experience, what have you, and that was, you know, it's like, oh wow, you know, that's you know, that's really something. So that relatability is an important thing that I would measure the kind of the quality of my work, if I could say that. But when it comes to what kind of genre or what have you, I've got this new one that I'm working on. I would like to have a go at writing kids stories. Like I've already written one, like a kind of like a horror story for kids. It's called The Box That Like to Eat Fingers.
The box that what, when, why?
The Box That Like to Eat Fingers.
The box that like to eat fingers.
Yeah.
Would you put a sandwich on the cover of that book?
No.
Ah!
I've learned my lesson. And this is a funny thing as well. Actually, you're talking about marketing and all the rest of that. I've got an author friend. He's writing a memoir, and he's been getting loads of good, you know, responses and feedback from it. But he was saying to me, "Oh, so you know, did you use an editor when you publish your book?" I was like, "No, I just edited it myself, and you know, my dad liked it, and you know, that was."
My dad liked it, so that was good enough.
Yeah, my best mate Justin liked it, so yeah. And he was like, "Okay, well, how did you design your cover?" And I was like, "Well, they talk about bacon sandwiches in the story, and people like bacon, so I like the picture, so I thought, yeah, that'll do." And I feel like in some ways I've kind of half-assed it, except for the story, though. You know, with the story, I did, you know, work hard on. So so lots of elements like that, I think I will certainly improve on and think about more. But that just comes with experience as well, doesn't it? It's all a learning curve. It's a pretty steep one. But I think at the same time as well, yeah, absolutely. But at the same time as well, you know, if I don't want to just, you know, write 10 different versions of yes, no, sorry, I love you. I want to try different things, and then, you know, maybe if I was successful enough that I find a particular genre or what have you that I'm really good at, then fine, I'll stick with that. But until then, I'd give romance a try. I think I could write romance. I'd give horror a try. Probably the only thing I wouldn't do is like fantasy and sci-fi, that kind of stuff.
Fantasy, yeah.
I've been really,
want to write fantasy.
I've been reading somebody's story, which is like a fantasy-based one, and it's like it's not something I would typically read. The the imagination in it's incredible, you know, and the detail. And I think, oh, that's great. I couldn't write it myself, you know. But you know, hats off to if I was wearing a hat.
What kind of books do you like to read?
I think before I started writing myself, I predominantly read autobiographies, which is maybe not a surprise that I write the way that I do as well, because I'm not a big kind of like follower of celebrity and so on, but I am interested in like the story behind the person. Oh, sorry, Gail.
I was like, I don't really like fantasy. I really don't. I mean, The Hobbit. I mean,
well,
Lord of the Rings is a good series. I mean, if you have to say it, I mean, it's good. It's Lord of the Rings.
Have you tried to read it actually? Though?
But
Have you tried to read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings?
I have.
Like it's a slog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that out loud because then people will, you know, they'll judge me. But no, I didn't finish it. It wasn't for me. I like the movies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And as I said, people that can write that, you know, fantastic. You know, all power to them. And people that are like that brilliant. You know, that floats your boat, then great.
I wonder what I would really be curious to read some of your horror if you're gonna write horror, because because your first book is so whimsical and so like quaint.
Right. Okay. Well,
Gail couldn't read them either.
Right. Okay.
I'm glad it's not just us, because I really feel like, you know.
Yeah. I think the horror one would be really interesting. My just to go back to my dad, the second book that he wrote was it was his interpretation of the Jack the Ripper stories. Yeah, so obviously there's the mystery around Jack the Ripper, like who was he? You know, you're confused.
Wait, you know why? Because I was reading a comment and I got distracted and then I missed something important. And so that's why I need to pay attention. Go back to what you said right before Jack the Ripper. Were you talking about your dad?
I was, yes.
So and the first book that he wrote, that's where I missed. I missed that little segue.
So the first book that he wrote actually is called Jack Benson, The Life of a Victorian Fellow.
Okay.
He's quite interested in like his favorite author is Wilbur Smith, but he really likes like historical fiction. There's one at the moment with the Romans, which I can't remember what the author's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that was his first story, but his second story was, as I say, based around the Ripper murder.
Yeah,
Jack the Ripper. And of course, there's the theory around that, who was Jack the Ripper and what have you. So my dad writes this story with you know, like an explanation of who it was. And it's in his story, it wasn't just one person, but it was three people. And so he writes this tale, and it's like in two parts. The first part covers the murders and so on, what have you, and then the second part is kind of what he did next after that, you know. So which is, you know, obviously my dad's imagination, but just getting to my point is like it's very, very, very dark and bloodthirsty, like incredibly so. You know, almost to the point of like, you know, bloody hell, you know, where's this come from?
Oh.
You know, that kind of stuff. Really, like there's people that have read it that couldn't read it, couldn't continue it, because it's really like grisly.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I thought, wow, you know, I was quite impressed in some ways. So yeah, if I had a go at horror, I don't know, you know, maybe I might have a similar kind of, I don't know, might be something he's passed on to me.
How old is your dad?
He's 71.
71. And he's written how many books since he's retired? I'm gonna sneeze. Oh,
He's written 4 now.
4.
Yeah,
And
he's almost finished his 5th one.
How are people finding his books?
Well, he doesn't publicize them really. Like, he's got them on sale on Amazon, for example, but he doesn't use social media really. You know, like I've said, you've got to get on there, you've got to get a profile and build up your website and all the rest of that. He's just like, oh, you know, I kind of concentrate, and do that. So really, he enjoys writing the books. I think, if anybody was going to get to know them or what have you, it would be myself that would push them and do the marketing and all the rest of that. But at the moment, yes, The Hobbit is an easy read. Yeah, it's only about 200 pages. It's that is quite good, and a very good game as well, actually. The rest were, oh my god,
who do you think Facebook user is?
I have no idea.
I wonder. I might be able to tell by looking at my phone.
What do they do, guys? Don't do that. They've obviously chosen to be anonymous.
Do you think that they did, or maybe they just didn't know how to do it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. But so your dad, we need to help him with marketing then, because he wants people to read his books, right?
Oh, he does. Yeah, he wants them to. I think he's sold about 30 copies across the 4 titles that he's had. He's had very few reviews, actually. He's had a bit of a dispute with Amazon, for a couple of years about people not being able to post reviews and stuff like that. And in some ways, he's a stereotypical old git. If you ever want any money off or money back for anything or what have you, let him know, and he'll call customer services, and he'll harangue them for 2 hours, and all of that. He loves it.
Your dad.
He loves complaining about it. But yeah, I think it'll be when I have time to promote that and to do that, and I would love to. I would love to, and it makes us really proud, actually. That he gets a lot of joy from writing the books. Yeah, I'm really happy that he's doing that. I thought, when I was growing up, he was one of the things he was sending back along with cassettes and stuff was he'd always write like little ditties and poems and things like that, and I loved them when I was growing up. So it was the fact that he's found this, that he can do, and he does enjoy it. The 5th book that he's working on at the moment, he's loved horse racing all of his life, and so this book's all about it's like, it's not just the famous horses, but it's his own kind of personal ones, and little anecdotes and things, of throughout his life, and little stories, and he also like compares horses from different generations as well. So it's I think it's arguably the best one that he's written so far. So he's definitely like getting better with each one in turn. But I will get around to promoting them more and more. But at the same time, there's only so many hours in the day, isn't there? And I'm trying to write my 2nd one and promote this one, and clearly I've got loads of like marketing skills to learn from your good self and all of this kind of stuff, isn't it?
Do you know who Facebook user is?
I don't. No. Do you feel you get your love of writing from your dad?
It's right here. She said, it's Daphne. It's Daphne. She said, for some reason, the computer doesn't recognize me as me. It's because you have to agree to have your name on there or something like that. So Daphne is following, and she has a question for you. She says, do you feel like you get your love of writing from your dad?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. He, like I said, his favorite author was Wilbur Smith. You go to his house and there's every book that he's ever wrote. There's George MacDonald Fraser he liked, Dick Francis. there was probably 3 or 4 authors, I would say, that he kind of exclusively read. And he would always be saying, like, this is the one that you should be reading, kind of thing. And I guess when I was a teenager, I sort of went, no. It's like an old boring book, kind of thing. It was the same with the old films that he used to force us to watch.
Like, give me an example of one of your dad's favorite movies.
Well, it is ironic now because he lives about 30 minutes from me, so I see him once a week. I'll go and see him on a weekend, and quite often we'll watch these old films. When I was younger, I would have like gone, oh God, this is awful. But I'll go through it now, and I'm saying, pick me a classic. So like recently we watched the one with Michael Caine and Sean Connery in The Man Who Would Be King.
Oh, Sean Connery.
Yeah.
The Man Who Would Be King.
Have you seen that? Can you remember it?
Hold on a second. I want to see something. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
I can't see you because I'm searching something.
Oh.
So I told you I don't remember things, right?
Right. Okay.
So I don't remember most of the things that I've watched. Well, some of the things I'll remember if I watch The Man Who Would Be King. The Man Who because I want to see would.
I think it was early 70s, so it's like, it's a young Connery. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So hold on.
It's after his Bond days.
Oh shoot! Hold on. Stop playing. Oh wait. Hold on. Play for a second. Hold on. Give me 3 seconds. I just spit. Whoa. Skip ads. Okay. Now I'm gonna come back here, and then I'm gonna go stop screen share. Hold on. Stop it. Whoa. Stop screen share. Now I'm gonna go share again. Share screen. Click that little button. Click on this button. Then click on this button. And then click back over here.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Look at that.
Did you see me navigate? I'm a genius.
You are. Look at that.
I know. Let's listen for a second.
Okay.
You don't want money, just a little of your time. Look at a book or two. Study of your maps.
Ooh, who's that? Is that Gene Wilder?
No, that's on the right. That's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, and that's
Sean Connery.
I used to have a crush on Sean Connery. I did.
What, during his Bond days?
No, I think in his older days.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Not like old days. He passed away, didn't he? Is he dead now?
Yes, yeah, recently, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks. I don't want to die. I say that a lot. I just want you to know that, Alex.
Wow. I think you're good. I think you're good for a while.
You think?
Yeah.
What if I get COVID?
Well, I think you're young and healthy and fit, and you're probably, battered away and no bother.
Did you get inoculated? Are you vaccinated?
No, I'm not old enough.
What?
But they've been obviously giving it to the more vulnerable and the older generation. So it will come to me eventually. I think the plan for the UK's rollout is like if you're under 50, that'll be from July.
Okay.
Be a nice birthday present for me.
So are you excited? Are you gonna go stand in line to get it?
Oh, I'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, even if you don't, I know for my age, if I do get it, there's like a third of people who have no symptoms. But even if I do get it, I'm probably like, strong enough that I'll be all right with it. But that's not the point, Even if you have no symptoms, you could be carrying it and you pass it on to anybody else. So yeah, just get it. I don't really understand people's, that wouldn't. Really, it's just a responsible thing to do. Not really, actually. That's I tend to go very far. We've only just come out of lockdown. I don't know whether what what the restrictions have been like over in the States, but I know certainly from talking to Juliana, Macedonia, they haven't had any restrictions really for quite a long time. From probably about May.
How are they doing over there? Are they dropping like flies, or is everybody doing okay?
I don't know. You know, it's not the usual kind of topic of conversation. You know, like, oh, how many people have died this week?
How are they dying over there? No.
But they must. You know, I imagine they're doing okay. There's a lot of Europe, unfortunately. You know, their vaccination program hasn't been as good as it.
So you know, I don't watch the news.
Oh right, okay, sorry. Yeah.
I don't want to be informed anymore. I used to wake up every morning, and that was the first thing I did was I'd make my coffee, because back then I drank coffee instead of tea, and I would sit there and I'd watch the morning news, I'd watch the afternoon news, I'd watch the evening news, and then I watched a lot of YouTube videos too, and the more videos that I was listening to that were for successful people, business people, entrepreneurs, rich people, wealthy people, I kept hearing them say one of the things that they don't do is watch television or the news. And I'm like, if the rich people of the world are not watching the news, then why am I watching the news? So I stopped watching it. It's already happened. Most of the stuff you see on the television is depressing, dismal, terrible news. Why do I want to fill my brain with it? I don't. So I don't watch it.
I went through a period when we had the referendum here in what was it, 2016 for Brexit.
Yeah, Brexit.
And I was you know, interested in that, and I followed the news a lot and what was going on with that, and it just kind of got so intense. It was that very thing. It was like, I need to have a break from this, and because a lot of it is just so negative, and you know, it's what sells, isn't it? You know, it's what gets clicks and all the rest of that. You know, bad news is more interesting than good news. That's just the way of it. So I, by and large, stopped watching, like, you know, the 24-hour news cycles and so on, and feel all the better for it. You know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And so then I talked to, you know, my dad. My dad watches the news. I mean, my dad watches the Russian news. My dad watches the Chinese news. My dad watches all the news. He has to watch the news, and he gets so mad. He's like, rah, just rage and anger and seething. And then he tells me, he's like, you need to stay informed. You need to know what's happening in the world around you. And I'm like, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit people with my rubber chicken, like, you know, like, why? I don't want to be a miserable fucking human. I want to enjoy my life before I die.
My dad's similar. He's kind of, when I go over, he'll say, you know, oh, you won't believe, you know, they've been doing this, or they've been protesting about that, and all the rest of that. And he gets really like upset about it. It's like, you know, just leave it. Don't, you know, concentrate on your writing, or, you know, let's watch a bit of snooker or something like that. Yeah, let's watch an old film.
What do you think about American politics?
Sorry?
What do you think about American politics?
Well, I don't know. Do I want to say it?
I want to know. Facebook user, I think that's Daphne. She says, I feel like as Americans, we forget that there is COVID going on in the rest of the world. Do you think that's true, Alex? Do you think that we think that do you think Americans are self-centered?
I couldn't possibly say.
Okay, so American politics.
No, I would say no. My dad's. I got pulled up on this the other day, actually. Well, I said my dad's partner is a woman called Luann, and she's American.
Oh, yeah. Is she Republican or a Democrat?
I'm not sure, because politics isn't something that we really talk about.
Oh.
But, you know, they've been together a lot of years, but it's just one of those subjects. I don't think it's just something that she likes to talk about anyway. but you know, I certainly wouldn't call her self-centered or or anything else that you were just saying there. No, she's a lovely one. So
is she the only American that you know?
Well, and you and Candice.
Candice. Where's Candice from?
America.
What state in America?
It's one on the coast, I think.
On the coast.
I know she often puts pictures and stuff of walking her baby along the beach.
Along the beach. And Candice is working on a book, right?
She is, yes. I think it's due to come out in the next couple of months. It's with the editor at the moment, and I did read a couple of chapters of it. It was great. You know, I'm really looking forward to reading that. When You Came Into My Life, it's called.
When You Came Into My Life. So Candice, I sent her a friend request, and she messaged me and told me that she's never on Facebook. I think she's predominantly
Instagram.
On Instagram, and I spend more time on Facebook. So I haven't really connected with Candice as much as I have you and some other people, because she's not really on this platform as much.
Right.
But I do see that she's been really supportive of you as an author, and you vice versa. I love seeing how everybody is working together to try to support each other. I love that.
Yeah, it's that's what I was saying before. You know, the people are pretty much everyone without exception that I've been in contact with on Instagram and so on. Just absolutely lovely. There was Harry I mentioned before, Harriet Pierce. Like she messaged this morning. She, you know, like you can like people's stories and stuff like that. She'd been hiking. Well, I'll say yesterday. She lives in New Zealand, I think. So they're like 11 hours ahead or something daft like that. And anyway, she'd been out hiking, and then she said, "Oh, I'm launching my book today."
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, fantastic! You know, what's it about?" And it's a story about a woman whose husband commits suicide.
Oh.
And it's a story about grief then and recovery and so on. So she said, "Oh, you might not like it," and I was like, "No, you know, no, it sounds fine." So I went on straight away, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, you know, and I ordered it, you know, and she was just like, "Oh my God, you know, wow." And I read a few chapters of it, and it's like, wow, it's brilliant, you know, and I'll look forward to reading it and putting reviews on, and it's just nice, you know, that there's that instant kind of connection that you can have with people, but it also is I was going to say reciprocity. I'm struggling. What's the word?
Reciprocity.
Oh, dang me, it's bad when you're giving me words, isn't it?
I know it. It's actually I can actually talk right, eh?
Yeah, reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Right? It's when you can give and take.
Yeah.
Right?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So
it is. It's lovely. It's lovely.
I'm gonna pee my pants here shortly. No, not really. I'm gonna go to the restroom. But we're running out of time for our first talk. How do you think it went?
Well, I think an hour and 43 minutes speaks for itself.
It was fun, right? You would do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. And to anybody else that you know that's been watching, you know, thank you. And if you're thinking about doing it or what have you, absolutely, you know, Amber's lovely. And
lovely.
It's nerve-wracking, you know. This isn't my I was going to do your accent there. I was going to say cup of tea, you know, but I don't talk like that.
How do you talk it? How do you say cup of tea then?
I said cup of tea.
Cup of tea. And then I just say it like that.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't at all.
Where's my accent from? Where's my accent from?
I've got no idea. Like I say, you sound like Russell Brand.
I don't even know who that is.
Well, look him up and listen to him, and you go, "Oh my God, it's me."
I sound like a dude. Am I a good-looking dude?
Some would say he's handsome. Yeah.
What is he known for? What does he do?
Well, he was a comedian. and then he was an actor. But he was, he had problems with drugs, and he was a bit of a what's the word, like a bit of a playboy, I think you might say.
Oh.
And then after that he's gone through all of his rehab and everything, and now he does podcasts, and intellectual discussions and all kinds of things. He's a very smart guy. I don't think he isn't everybody's cup of tea. He's he winds some people up, and I think sometimes it's he's the way that he talks. Do you remember a show called Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, you got all these teenage kids who are using these, absolutely ridiculously huge words. Sometimes it sounds like he's trying to sound cleverer than he is, which he doesn't need to do because he is smart. I was listening to one earlier today, on my lunch break. Actually, he did an interview with Professor Jordan Peterson, who I've mentioned in the group before. I'm a huge fan of his. He's anybody that's interested in the kind of the purpose of your life and meaning and setting yourself a goal and taking responsibility and all that kind of thing. He's a wonderful guy, and he's really, really smart. And Russell Brand was doing this interview with him, and I sat there and I was just nearly in tears, because he's a very kind of sensitive and emotional guy as well. He really wants the best for people, and he's been through absolute hell himself in the last year. And you could just see and hear in his voice and everything, like the gratitude, that was there, and it's just a wonderful thing. Really, really good man. So a big recommendation there for him, definitely.
You're like,
oh yeah. You try, give it a try if you haven't seen him before. He does a lot of lecture series. There's loads of videos on him. There's people on the left that have quoted him as a controversial figure, because there was to do with like kind of transgenderism and things like that he was some of these discussion points were about. Not that he was like anti-transgender. It was about freedom of speech issues that he was talking about. But
I have a problem with freedom of speech issues. Right.
Okay. Well, have a listen to him. He's probably the smartest guy that I've ever heard. Really, really good.
I want to be smarter, Alex.
You are smart.
I am smart, but I want to be smarter.
Okay. Well, you're doing that every day, though, aren't you?
Being smart?
Well, not watching the news and listening to these podcasts and so on. Honestly, people could do a lot worse. I know some people don't like him, but people could do a lot worse than watching Joe Rogan every day.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, in some ways, he is kind of like a common guy, I think. But he asks good questions. He has good guests on his show. He has a wide variety. He's not stereotyped in any way. He talks about interesting subjects, some things that, you would never even think about. And that's great for expanding your mind and, like you say, considering different perspectives and what have you. He's, I think he's quite a liberal guy at heart, I would say, but, like most kind of normal people, I guess, there's some things you're conservative on, some things you're liberal. And, and you try to find that balance between the two, don't you? I don't think it's healthy just to be one or the other. That's where that tends to be where you get the extremes, isn't it? And where all the problems are caused.
What are you, left or right, or are you more middle?
I would say I'm more right, but I'm like center right.
Is right liberal?
No, it's conservative.
Conservative?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're conservative.
I'm center right, I would say.
Center right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just confused.
You did a little robot dance there.
I mean, I guess that for me, I grew up feeling identifying as a Democrat. I definitely was like a Democrat. Now that I'm older, I'm not a Democrat. Definitely not. But then again, I'm definitely not a Trumpster either. The way that American politics are right now, it's just best for me just to disengage and not participate. That's how I feel about it. I'm not smart enough for politics. I'm far too stupid for that.
Well, in the UK, it's always traditionally been you were red or blue. So red is Labour, the left, and Conservatives on the right. You had the Liberal Democrats as well. But where I grew up in the north, for most of my life, and years before that, it was like traditionally always red. They talked of like a red wall there, and you had generations and generations of people, voted Labour, and I'll always vote Labour, because they're for the people kind of thing, and the Conservatives are just about business and all this stuff. Until the recent elections, where that wall has started to crumble, and people have seen actually that certainly in communities in the northeast, which used to be predominantly kind of industry led, you had steel in Sheffield and you had coal in the northeast. When all of that closed down, there was nothing to replace it, and that kind of divide between north and south kind of grew. Sorry, this is very UK kind of.
No, I think it's fascinating.
But those communities in the north, they have seen, well, we've been told for years and years and years that the Tories, the Conservatives, do nothing for us. Well, what the hell's Labour done? And and what happened at the last election that we had was, a lot of those traditional stalwart Labour seats or what have you were lost to the Conservatives. So there's an opportunity there, I think, for conservatism to kind of show what it can do, I suppose, but like I say, I'm not hard right by any means. I think, I believe in kind of like social responsibilities and like green to an extent. I think a lot of that is
to an extent
kind of taxes, and
we can have a few trees, one or two, just I would like to see some green over there, but the rest can be buildings. It's fine with me.
Yeah. Anyway, it's all interesting stuff, but perhaps something we can say for another time.
I know. I probably should just end this, but it's been so fun.
It has. This has been great, and hopefully we can do this again.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. It's definitely happening. So I'm going to call this episode 1. This is episode 1.
Okay. Right.
Do you know that? So I've got coming up on the lineup, I've got Kristen. I'll be talking to Kristen next week. And then Talha, I'm saying his name wrong. He's from Pakistan. I'll be talking to him. And then I'm also going to be talking to Brianne about her weight loss journey. She's lost like 100 pounds.
Wow. That's amazing.
Or something close to it.
Right. Okay.
Even if she had lost 50 pounds, like that's a lot. Anyway, so one of the things I'm gearing up to do is to do more lives. I would love to do a podcast if I had time to figure out what that means exactly.
Right.
It means that I'm going to be on Spotify instead of Facebook Live. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with all of this stuff. And plus, I have to write my second book. I have to run a business. I have to go to the bathroom. I need to eat.
Some of those things are more pressing than others.
Yeah, I need to smoke pot.
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't need to do that. Wait, no, the point is, I've absolutely adored talking to you. Thank you so much for being a part of the wealth building group. Do you like the group?
I do. Yes. Yeah. I think probably from where I am at the moment, the main thing I get from it, which is great, is the banter and the interaction, with everybody on there. I love that, and making those connections and the friendships and so on. The you know, like the world of investment and stuff like that, it's a bit alien to me. Yeah, but maybe that's something that'll come, I don't know, in my 50s if I get there.
So I love, so the FIRE movement, financial planning, financial independence, investing, like, so that created the group because I want to talk about that kind of stuff, but it's really boring and nobody really cares about it, you know? So I'm like, it's like, I'm trying to like make sure that people aren't bored. I'm trying.
Yeah, but what you also have in there though is, you know, because those things aren't just standalone, you know, you also got motivational things on there and life planning as well, and setting goals and all of that, which is absolutely crucial. So yeah, it's good to, if it was just focused on one topic, it would be dull.
Yeah.
And you know, and if there's a bit of piss taking and banter and stuff as well, then that's all good fun.
Yeah.
Which you know, you always provide. So that's brilliant.
I'm trying. I'm definitely, you know, I'm asking questions like, what do you guys want to see? And then again, trying to make sure that I stay true to what I created in the first place, you know, because wealth building is important to me, because I don't want to be a starving artist. I want to be a successful business person. And by golly, if you want to write books and be successful as an author, as a career, I want to be able to help people reach that goal. Because for me, I didn't write a book just for the sake of writing a book. I wanted to create a new career for myself. So that means I have to be really good at that aspect, that business side of it as well, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So we can
you're coming at it from the perspective, sorry, just finally, that of like you are a business person, that you have your own business, that you've been running that successfully for a number of years. So yeah, it stands to reason, you know, that you would be that inclined, you know, to that way of thinking. But yeah, all power to you, Amber. You know, it's great. It's great. And thank you very much. I've really loved this, and I hope, you know, I hope we haven't bored anybody overly much. You know, if we've still got people watching.
Committed suicide. That's not fun to make. It's not funny to make suicide jokes. I take it back. No, I don't. I was just meaning they were bored. They weren't bored. I'm meaning, see, this is why we need an editor. No editor.
We were doing so well.
I know, and then I just ruined it.
You ruined the last 15 seconds.
What are we going to do? We're going to have to delete it and start over.
Well, we're going to have to cut it. Yeah.
This is the thing. We do what we do. We do our best, and then we ask for forgiveness where we fuck up, right? Some jokes are just always going to be inappropriate, and I'm going to make those jokes.
Well, we also got through the whole interview with that's the first F word.
I know. I was really expecting to swear more.
Well, you know, it's because I'm, you know, a British gent.
I know, and I'm a lady. Does that sound English? No, I'm not a lady.
You've seen Grease, haven't you?
No. Yeah,
what?
I've seen Grease. That has what's her name in it, and what's his name? John Travolta's in Grease.
He is, yes, and Olivia.
And the blonde lady. Does it start with an S?
No, Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
It's not her. It's not because I don't know. It's just because I have Alzheimer's.
All right. Okay. Along with your lung cancer.
Yeah. Lung cancer, Alzheimer's, emphysema, asthma, urinary tract infection. I'm just kidding. See, I probably should avoid comedy.
You're for the knackers yard, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. It's been a pleasure, Alex. I'm going to end this broadcast. Bye, love.
Okay.